Hello, friends, and welcome to Flosstube number 4. I'm Nicole, and this channel is I Practice Stitchcraft. There's a bunch of X's in between the words there, and you can find me on Instagram with the same username. I am here to talk to you a little bit about my stitching over the last 2 weeks since I had a chance to visit with you all. And I've got some fun stuff to show you, some whips, some haul, a little bit of plans. Luna is wandering around the table that I'm filming on today. She will likely make an appearance because she is being particularly Velcro-ish. She is very much a Velcro bird today. So you will likely see her at some point. She's actually hanging out right here looking at me right now. So a couple things to talk to you about today. One topic doesn't really fit into any of the categories, but I wanted to make sure that you were aware. If you are someone who likes to do salves, or if you follow Stitchonomy at all, you can sign up now for Homely House Plants version 2. You guys may have seen this one. Version 1 was pretty popular. This is what version 1 looked like. I think you've seen a good bit of that around. And this one is an accompaniment. It accompanies that other piece, and it's using a slightly different color scheme. This is the color scheme for version 2. And her kits just went on sale. So if you are wanting to purchase the kit, go ahead and make sure you get to the Stitchonomy site. For those of you who don't know, Stitchonomy. It's a free sale, but you do have to sign up to get it for free. So you might want to hop over there and check that out. I am signed up. I'm excited to start that. I'm not planning on purchasing the kit for that because it's plain white Ada and DMC, and that's easy enough to source on my own. So I'll probably just work that up by myself. Moving on. I want to thank Athena at Stitching Goddess Designs, yes, for her lovely shout out in not her last Flosstube, or not number 4, but her number 3 Flosstube. She is also wonderful. We started filming right around the same time. Highly recommend checking her out. I'm going to talk a little bit more about her towards the end of the video in the haul section. As I mentioned in my last video, you are not going to find a lot of FOs and FFOs on my channel. I have too many irons in the fire, and I am too slow as a new stitcher to keep up with all of that. So it's you're not going to get a lot of that on this channel. Hopefully soon. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, an FO is a finished object, and an FFO is a fully finished object. So stay tuned. Hopefully one of these days you'll get some of that. So I'll go right into my whips. I'm going to try to keep this shorter than my last few videos. They've been longer than I anticipated. So first whip I have to show you is what Michelle Bendy calls an FFN, a finished for now. It is Barbara Anna's Dreaming Girl. So far, part 1 and part 2 have been released, and I have finished both part 1 and part 2. She looks like this. She's been a joy to stitch. Um, oh, I do have where I was when you last saw this, so hopefully I remembered to plop that in before I showed you. But she's so beautiful. And I'm really getting why there's such a Barbara Anna following. If you remember, I'm doing her mostly in the called for colors, with two exceptions. One is that this design that's in her hair, I chose a different color for because for some reason the two DMCs were like the exact same color. I couldn't even see the difference. So I pulled a Coach and Clark for that. If you saw my last video, you know I was not sure if I was going to have enough floss to finish the design in her hair. So for those of you following that saga, I had enough. That's what's left. So hopefully I don't need anything more with this in the design, but if I do, at least it's a different part, so I can always pull a different brown for that. But that was really close. And then the other color I changed was this skin tone. It's one lighter in the DMC than is called for because I didn't have the called for. I kind of wish I went one darker instead, but it does the job. I just love the flowers that she put on there. So I'm really excited to see where we go for part 3. And obviously there's some fish coming at some point, but who knows what's next. I'm looking forward to seeing. And that comes, part 3 for Dreaming Girl comes out on March 1st. So we should have an answer on that for the next time I film. Also, since I last filmed, I did some Dark 13 stitching to work on my Halloween piece a little bit. I will put in a picture of where you saw it last here. And this is what it's going to look like. I'll take it out of the bag. It's really hard to see. Hi, Luna. This is what it will look like when it's done. Just so many cool motifs in there. Oh, there's Luna. She's here for a visit. Hi, baby. She's a cute little chicken nugget, but some days she just wants to attach herself to me. And this is, ooh, everything just came out of the bag with that. This is where I am now. So I got this little motif done, and I start, why is it so hard to find things on here? I started this big motif, and this is the edge of the design. I realized somehow this big motif up here, I got off on my counting. So like this is supposed to be over more, and then I counted the hat off of this motif. So I've got some spacing issues in this neighborhood. But hopefully it won't become too big of an issue because this was a monster. This was a monster to stitch, and don't want to rip it out, and I don't want to stitch it again, and I don't want to waste all of that fancy floss that it took to do that. So this is where we stand on that. You likely won't see this in my next video because there won't be a Dark 13 stitching day now and then. This is all the called for floss, and this is, picture this plus murky 32 count Lugana. So this is the called for fabric for this as well, except it calls for linen, and I used Lugana because I prefer at the moment anyway. I find it easier to stitch on even weave. No, thank you. So much extra fabric, it's hard to get it back into the bag. Like I mentioned before, this is a Whip It Up project bag. You can find her on Instagram. I love her bags because they fit an 11 by 11 Q-snap, which is what most of mine are. So it's nice to have a bag that holds that. Except for when everything bunches up on the bottom and you can't get it in. Okay. So that'll be put away for a little while. We'll see it again next month. My third whip for you is my Dark Queen of the Sea by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This is a stitch along and a choose your own adventure stitch along. There are parts where you can pick things, and this month was one of those times you could pick things. So I will put in a picture here of where you saw her last. And this is where she is now. Maybe. There we go. So the new part is what you're seeing over here and this thing in her hand, and then it continues kind of up and around here, comes down into this area, this little like squid ink magic thing. This is all done in sparkly floss. I'm not sure that you can see that. The dark colors are two colors of DMC Etoile, and then this is a Petite Treasure braid. The Etoile is 310, C310. And C823. Those are the dark colors that you can see on here. And then the Petite Treasure braid looks like this. I'm sure most of you have seen this before, but in case anyone has not, comes on a card like this. You use just one strand by itself. This is my first time using any kind of sparkly floss, and it's been pretty interesting to use it because it definitely works differently than a regular cotton floss. The Etoile, I find, I don't know how to explain it. Kind of like separates and bunches up a little bit. I don't know if you can see, like in this area, it's just a little, it like splits easier than regular DMC does, which I'm finding is more of an issue when I start a strand than any other time. And then the treasure braid is nice to work with. You work with it with one strand, so you don't really get that separation like you do on the DMC, but it's rougher, which is not really a surprise. But it's just rougher going through the material. This is PB204 for anyone that's interested in this color. You can kind of see the sparkle there. It's very pretty color. So I look forward to adding some more sparkle to the Dark Queen. So as I was saying, this month was also a bit of a choose your own adventure. So you might remember me saying you could pick to make her topless or not. She had two different face choices. And then she initially came with two different hair color options, but people were really excited about the hair. And Aaron Houston is amazing. And he created a hair extension pack that had 10 additional colors that you could choose from. So this is mostly the teal that's in that extension pack, except for the lightest color is a substitution because I didn't have the color that was called for. So you could pick that, you could pick her face, you could pick her hair, and then this, you could choose between what I did here, which is this kind of like magic orb looking thing. And then the other option was it still had like the dark around it, but the center was a skull. So to make her a darker Dark Queen of the Sea. I think I got swayed by sparkly things because I really wanted to put the treasure braid on there. So that's the Dark Queen. I need to finish that up because the next part, the March part for her, will drop March 1st. So I need to finish putting that magic squid ink, whatever you want to call it, around her. This was the bulk of the stitching on this though, so I don't think that's going to be too bad getting the rest of that done. My last whip to show you is Stitchy Book Club. I do not have a last time you saw it picture because you only saw it in haul because I got the kit. The first part of the pattern hadn't released yet, so I had no stitching on it. This bag is also part of haul today. It's a very large bag. It doesn't need to be this big, but it is another Whip It Up project bag. I love her stuff. And I got this one specifically because I bought the subscription to Stitchy Book Club for this year, Stitching Book Club for this year. So I've got 2 more patterns coming my way. No. And this is all storybook characters. If you look at the design here, you've got Little Red Riding Hood and Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella and Little Mermaid. So it's all storybook characters. And that felt like the appropriate bag for Stitching Book Club. So the first book of the year is Sense and Sensibility. And part 1 dropped maybe around the 13th, if I remember correctly. And this is what part 1 is going to look like. And I bought the kit, so the fabric is a 28 count even weave. that was dyed for this project specifically. And this is as far as I've gotten. This kind of center flower has this kind of cool lacy feel to it, which I think is really pretty. Guys, this needle minder is from It's Charm School. She has some great stuff on Etsy. You can go check her out. It's Charm School. She's also on Instagram. You can see what her new releases are as they come. So I need to finish this flower up, and then the leaves, the like kind of stem and leaves, and then each side has these two little motifs, floral motifs that go there. So I have a lot to do to finish this up. And the next part drops March 6th. So I am moving on that. Too many whips, or too many stitch alongs, not enough time. And I bought the kit, as I mentioned, so all of the colors are the called for. I just really like the color scheme on this. Really pretty. I mentioned in my last video the Broadway sale. I showed that to you. I have not had a chance to pick that up at all, which makes me kind of sad. But the second part dropped, which, you know, given that I haven't stitched the first part or stitched the frame or the first part, it's fine. I'm fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. This is what part 2 looks like. 525,600 minutes. So the R is for Rent, which is the first musical I was ever completely obsessed with. And I am a theater nerd. I've been obsessed with a lot of musicals. This was the first one. I can still recite every word of this show backwards and forwards. So I really want to get into stitching this. Oh, I just noticed, for anyone who knows Rent, there's a little candle up here. Really cute. So Broadway South, no actual stitching to show you on that, but I thought you would like to see the second part, should I ever catch up. And that's it for my whips, believe it or not, for the last 2 weeks. As far as my plans, let me see, what did I make a note of? I am probably going to participate in Steel City Stitchers March Madness. They just posted a video about how that's going to work, so you can go to their Instagram. Well, you can go to their Instagram, but I meant you can go to their YouTube and check that video out. It's a short one. They kind of walk you through the bracket and a couple different ways you can work the bracket. So I'm thinking about doing that. My concern is doing March Madness and keeping up with the whips, which I'm already having trouble keeping up with. So, or the stitch alongs, not the whips. So we shall see. Beyond that, I want to finish up Dark Queen of the Seas and Sense and Sensibility to get those ready for the next sections to be released. Also, between now and my next video will be Merry 25 or Jolly 25. I don't remember what the hashtag actually is. But Christmas stitching on the 25th. So Marshmallow World will come out and get a work day on that. I'd also, as I mentioned, like to get some stitches into the Broadway sale because I'm really excited about that one. And I have like 97 things I want to start, but who's got time? On that note, let's move on to haul. Make my haul basket here. The first thing I want to show you, super duper cool. So I mentioned Athena. She is, I wrote it down because she has two different handles. On Instagram, she is Athena X Stitches. And on Facebook and YouTube, she is Stitching Goddess Designs. And her Stitching Goddess Designs Facebook page sells really cute cross-stitch t-shirts. You may have seen some of them floating around on Instagram and YouTube and whatnot. So a little while back, I messaged Athena and I said, do you do any other things besides t-shirts? Do you do mugs or travel mugs or bags or anything like that? And she said she didn't, and mugs were, because of the method that she uses with like a heat transfer, mugs and whatnot were not really possible, but she could try out bags. So she was so kind. She was calling me her beta tester as we were discussing, needs, what it should, size-wise, things like that. And she so kindly gifted me a tote bag. And this is her design. Luna likes it too. This is her design. It says, I cross-stitch, proof that I have the patience to stab something 1,000 times. So, I love it. I'm glad I got to show it so I can start using it. So keep your eye on her Facebook page for the bag. She has some specific plans for what she intends to do with the bags, and I love it. Thank you so much, Athena. This was incredibly kind of you to gift that to me. So again, and I'll link this below, she is Athena X Stitches on Instagram, and on Facebook and YouTube, she is Stitching Goddess Designs. And she does have a Flosstube, so you can kind of see what she's got in her store, her Facebook store there. I also bought, and do not have a hard copy of, Jennifer at Whistle Stop Stitches' newest design. She created this design as a fundraiser. Her sister rescues animals. And one of the animals that she rescued is a cat named Chester. Excuse me. And Chester has come a long way since he got to Jennifer's sister's house. But he's having some health issues that, from what I can gather, seem to be related to oral issues. And he has to have all of his teeth pulled, which is really expensive. So Jennifer created a design. She created a pattern where all of the proceeds from the pattern were going towards her sister to use to get Chester the surgery he needed. And this is that design. I purchased this right when I saw that she posted it because it's super cute. Plus, you get to help little kitty out. And it says, until one has loved an animal, a part of one's soul remains unawakened. And then here, this is Chester front and center, And then the other animals along the bottom are meant to represent other animals her sister has rescued. A horse, a guinea pig, some cats, chicken, whoops. So I think that's a bunny over here. So I believe, because the cross stitch community is phenomenal and it's full of amazing people. I believe that the 200 of these that Jennifer posted on her Etsy shop actually sold within 12 hours. And they were able to put that money towards Chester's surgery, and he has a date scheduled for his blood work and to have that all done coming up. What she's doing now, because there's still interest in this design, is I believe she still has it on her Etsy shop, and she's giving, she put another batch up that sold out, and she donated all of the money from that to the shelter or rescue that Chester came from. And now she's got more up, I believe, and she's giving 50% of the proceeds from that to that rescue for a certain amount of time. So you can check her Instagram, YouTube, Etsy, etc., and get more information on that. And Abby Topknot is doing a sale. I think it's like hashtag Chester Sal. But it's so cute. I just love the border on this too. When am I going to start this? No idea. But cute pattern, good cause. What's a girl to do? The other thing that I purchased that I have nothing to show you yet, is from Black Needle Society. Their Autumn Instars Hollow Retreat in a Box went on sale. I was like refreshing my email. Bought it as soon as I could. Believe it or not, as of this morning, there's still more of them available. So if you are a Gilmore Girls fan, get yourself over to Black Needle Shop and purchase that box. I am so excited. Love Gilmore Girls. I believe the retreat for that is in August, so the box will come right before the retreat. And I'll probably do an unboxing like I did for the first Black Needle Society box I got. So stay tuned for that. The rest of the haul is stuff that I actually have here that I can show you. So I got, because I keep buying fabric, like I can keep up with the amount of fabric I have. This is an 18 count Aida from Stash Unloading that I got because I was curious. Well, I like the mint green color, first off. But secondly, it's a damask Aida. And I was curious about the difference between that and a traditional Aida. And I can't really see it on the camera, I don't think. Maybe a little bit. The difference, as far as I can tell, and I don't know if I'm going to describe this super well, so bear with me. I know you have the warp and the weft, right? I don't know which one goes up and down, and I don't know which one goes sideways. But one of them, the way I'm holding it, it's the one that goes vertically. The thread seems to have a little more sheen to it than the threads that go horizontally. I don't know if you're picking that up at all on there. But that seems to be the difference between a damask, or damask, I don't know how to say it, and a regular Aida. And the color's really pretty, so I'm sure I'll find something to put on that. wonder if the houseplant cell would look good on that. Stay tuned. And I don't know if I mentioned that. That was from us, from Stash Unloading. Continuing on the fabric train, I won a fabric from Bestitch Me Friday Night Fight Night. So if you're unfamiliar, she posts the fabrics. You do me please, and try to claim it. It's not, you don't win it in that it's free. You win it in that you claim it before someone else does, or you're next in line and someone passes and you get it, which is actually how I won this one this week. This one does not have a color name. And it's 20 count Ada, but it's a nice, looks kind of green in the camera. It's brown. It's like a warm brown that the camera's not really picking up. But a nice neutral. On the topic of a nice neutral, I had never tried color and cotton fabrics before, and I saw on Instagram that they had posted some ready to ship fabrics, so I was like, you know what, give it a try. So I got this warm sienna in a 32 count Jobelin. And obviously I haven't stitched on it yet, but it feels really nice. And I'm loving the color and just the light modeling that is on here. This apparently was the December 2020 Fabric Club, according to the sticker. So I'm looking forward to putting something on that. And then I got this beautiful color. It's called Aurora, also a 32 count Lugana, also December 2020 Fabric Club. So I'm guessing the neutral and the color one. This one's a little bit bigger, but it's this beautiful bright blue. Like, makes me miss traveling in Caribbean waters and such. So I'm excited to give those a try because I hear just the most wonderful things about coloring cotton fabrics. So, you know, I'm saying I want to start approximately 97 things. Partially that's because of the patterns that I have upstairs, and partially it's because I've got such amazing fabric waiting to be used. Bye, Lena. This is the last of the fabric that I got. Again, it's a Stash Unloading purchase. And this is 32 count Stormy Night Lugana. It's got some nice modeling on there. And I'm gonna drop the tag that goes with the other one. This is I mean, this is not anything new to anyone. This is vintage country mocha Lugana, 32 count. And so these are printed fabrics, not dyed fabrics, right? So you can see it has this modeling, but on the back it's just plain. So these are printed guys, both of them. I get a lot of colorful fabrics. I tend to be like, ooh, colors. And then when I need something more neutral, I don't have it. So I'm trying to be mindful about getting a few more neutrals into my collection. All right, so that's it on fabric. I did get some floss, and this is for the Frogworks fan sampler. I showed you some of the others. I showed you the fabric that I got for it. I showed you the pattern as well. So this is just some of the gentle art colors that are needed to do that year one Frogworks year one pattern. It takes a ton of colors, and a lot of them are gentle art, which is hard to come by right now. Some of the classic color works are hard to come by, so just kind of slowly collecting what I need for that. When I ordered those, I also ordered a pattern because we don't want our fabric or our flosses to travel by themselves. And I've been eyeing this pattern up for ages, and the website that I ordered that from was having a Plum Street sampler sale. I can't remember the website off the top of my head right now. Maybe Everything Cross Stitch. So I got Plum Street Samplers, a new constellation, which is just beautiful. Probably look good on one of those brown fabrics, tan fabrics I just showed you. Let's see if I can read the top here. It says, resolved that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternate red and white, that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field, representing a new constellation. June 14th, 1777. So my history geek heart just loves that. I've had my eye on it. It went on sale. I needed the flosses. Would have been irresponsible not to do it, right? At least that's what I'll tell myself. As if we need any excuse to enable ourselves. The last two things I have to show you are needle minders that I got from Clay by Kim. I think most people are familiar with her work. She does the most gorgeous needle minders using polymer clay. She's Thursday night, I think, is when she's doing it right now, but you have to go to her website and there's a date and time, and just kind of cross your fingers and hope you can get your hands on a needle minder. They're highly sought after, and if you haven't seen them before, you'll be able to tell why momentarily. So this was the first one I got. Little Valentine's bug. Bug over here. Little ladybug on a heart. And it's all, let me see if I can take it off here. The whole thing is made of clay. She puts really strong magnets on it too, which is nice. The whole thing is made of clay. She puts little like rhinestone details in there, little crystal details. And then I don't have a needle handy. I'll show you with no needle but a bobby pin. I don't know. They all have no bobby pin. You can kind of see it here. A little curl of some sort. This one has the leaf here that your needle can go through, and that's how it holds the needle on that needle minder. And then she always has like a little clay stripe on the back. Her work is absolutely gorgeous. My problem is that I don't use them. They're safely stored in drawers because I'm afraid I'm going to mess them up if I use them. Defeats the purpose. I've got to get over that. I grab my project bags and go, right? Like I keep in each project bag a little bag that has scissors and seam ripper, needle threader. So like when I go someplace, I tend to bring a project with me. And I'm afraid in the jostling and the moving around, I'll grab one that has one of these on it and break it. It'll just be really sad. The other one I got is one of her traditional dragons. And the work on these it's just exquisite. Here we go. Absolutely beautiful. And the dragons all have their little dragon egg with them. You can see it in there. This one is peacock. Got the metallic on the nose. So just gorgeous. And then there's a little leaf curl here, like I was saying, and that's what holds the needle. So if you haven't checked out her work, I shouldn't say this because they're already hard enough to get, but check out her website and her Instagram page. Just true craftsmanship. And that's it. There needs to be more. That's it on the haul. That's it on the whips. I would like to do my featured Flosstuber segment now before I close out. And this week I chose for my featured Flosstuber Kathleen at Situation Normal. And I'll link that below. Guys, she's a blast. She's a blast. She's an absolute blast. She's funny. She doesn't take life too seriously. She does all kinds of different projects. She's very real. Sometimes she dresses up in theme. I'm always happy to see when I get a notification in my YouTube that Situation Normal has posted a new video. So if you have not seen her, go over, check her out. I can just about guarantee you will not be sorry that you did. So that's our featured Flosstuber for this video. I'm going to continue ending with a quote because I love a good quote. This week, I chose a quote that is weather appropriate because here in the Northeast, every few days we're getting either snow or ice lately. On that note, my thoughts to everyone in Texas. The pictures I'm seeing are crazy. Just my thoughts are with you. Hopefully things will go back to normal soon. But for this snowy season, I chose a quote from Aristotle. And the quote is, "To appreciate the beauty of a snowflake, it is necessary to stand out in the cold." Happy stitching!